you so much, Liv. Now, when your kids get their very first car, it can be a real mixture of fear and also freedom. These cars, mostly just fear for the parents, in fact. Most of the cars that the kids end up buying first off tend to be second-hand cars, and they can come with a whole bunch of risk. But to make sure you don't wind up with a lemon, we have Mark Fulton here, who is the owner of the Lemon Car. It's great to see you, Mark.
Welcome, Mark. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So tell us about the Lemon Car. How did this all come about, your business?
Single dad. My son had autism. I couldn't have a proper job. Couldn't work school holidays or weekends. So I was listening to two men talk one day, and they said, "Oh, you should have seen the piece of crap my son has just bought."
Yeah.
And he got done by the cops again.
Oh.
So I went home and I thought about it, and I thought, no one does this. So that I started it up 10 years ago.
I love it, because the reality is, of course, if your kid's buying their own car, their first car, they're not going to have much money. The parents aren't going to have much money to throw at it. Take us through some of the telltale signs to look for when you are buying a second-hand car. You've got the Beast here.
Yes.
Let's open her up and start her up and see what she can do.
Lemon, start.
Oh, hello.
Whoa.
It's called a Viper.
My God, are you Knight Rider?
It's quite fancy.
That's
Not
amazing.
Pretty cool having a car that talks.
Not every first car should talk, but what should every first car have when it comes to
Okay,
the
what you've got to
basics?
do first is you've got to check the tyres, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. Take someone with you when you go buy a car. Never go by yourself. Get them to hop in the car, get them to start the car while the car's running. Ask them, turn on the lights, put the blinkers on, hit the horn, make sure everything works, then come and check the dipstick.
Hey, I'm right here.
The dipstick will tell you everything you need to know about the engine. Down the bottom is the oil. If it's a browny colour, the dipstick is telling you, oh, I feel great, let's go for a drive. If it's black, it's telling you I've got a headache.
Right.
Please give me an oil change. If it's thick black, it means I'm crook, I don't want to go anywhere. If it's a milky colour, that means $2,000.
Oh.
The water from the radiator is mixing with the oil from the engine. You've got a cracked head gasket or a cracked head. So $2 grand.
Okay, so you
up.
want brown, nice, light brown coloured oil.
Yes.
What other red flags should we be looking out for our kids when it comes to buying their very first car? Because you can go for something cheap and then end up spending thousands just to make sure it's roadworthy, right?
Yeah, and that's where we come back to the tyres again. That's the most important part. Take the car for a test drive.
Yep.
Get it in an 80-kilometre zone, get it up to 80 kilometres an hour. Check, make sure nothing's behind you. Hit the brakes as hard as you can. If it goes like this, you're buying a lemon.
Oh.
It's going to cost you thousands.
Yep.
And just to make sure everything else is right.
All right, let's have a look at these tyres, because that's where people can really come unstuck when it comes to buying a car for their kids. You've got an example of a great tyre and a terrible tyre here. Talk us through it.
Brand new tyre, never been used, never been put on the car. These deep grooves, what they are for is for water. They're just specially designed to disperse as much water from underneath the tyre as possible so the rubber's touching. Every tyre in the world has these little rubber lugs. Every tyre. I've painted them here so they stand out. This is a second-hand tyre. When the tread wears down and is level with one of those lugs, that is now deemed a bald tyre, any one of those lugs. But if it's 2 millimetre above, it will pass registration. That's how you check for bald tyres.
So you're saying that's the first thing you should check out. Is that a bit like the canary in the coal mine? If the tyres have been run down, if the tyres are bald, then they probably haven't been servicing the car?
Yeah, if the tyres are worn down and the dipstick is a black colour, right, the people haven't been maintaining it.
Pretty worrying. Now, you aren't affiliated with any brand, you're not affiliated with any make or model, but are there certain makes and models of cars that you like better than others that are a great little first car, or...?
Well, this is a VR 95 model. This is a common car which the students could buy. It's a V8, but they can't buy the V8, but it's in their price range.
Right.
And what should we be spending on a kid's first car?
Oh, whatever you can afford.
Okay, well most families wouldn't be able to afford a heck of a lot.
No.
But what
And
is sort of the...
what sort of mileage are we talking as well? Is there, you know, if it hits a certain number of clicks, should you say, all right, that's no good, or...?
No, because the person might have maintained the car. Yeah. For example, a lot of students have said, where do you buy your first car from? And I say, well, I'd recommend your grandparents, because they would have looked after it, they would have maintained it. They might have had it for 20 years, clicked up. but it's been maintained. As long as it's been maintained, it doesn't matter about the mileage.
My mechanic says never buy a European car because it's, well, unless you can really afford it, because it's very expensive to service. That can cost you a lot to get the parts in as well.
That's true.
Often the Japanese cars, the parts are much easier to get as well. Is that right?
Like your Corollas are usually...
Yeah, I don't really like European cars. They're nice cars.
They're great cars. But if you're on a budget...
to replace something or to get it fixed, because they've got all special nuts on them, and it's only the mechanics with these special tools can put. You can't take it to the normal mechanic down the road.
So you want to buy a car that's really common, really easy to...
Jeff car or a Ford or a Holden.
Really good advice here. If you want to find out more about how to buy the best first car for your kids, you can head to thelemoncar.com.au. Mark, you're a legend. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Well done.